Here we are with another league with devoted elves. No, I'm not changing the list yet because I'm pretty happy with this Raptor flute in the sideboard. The main is set. Here we go. Match number one. We're on the draw. This is a decent hand, and now it has become a perfect hand because we actually drew Nature's Rhythm, which means that by turn 3 we can kill them with a devoted druid. We see a Windswept Heath, which means that it can be anything. And now with the commercial district, I'm thinking that it is probably something like Eldrazi Ramp. I'm waiting to see what they're going to surveil. If something's going to be put in the graveyard, nope. Ghost Quarter indicates that it's probably, yeah, we have a talisman, so it's definitely Eldrazi Ramp. And here, obviously, we are going for the combo, if they let us resolve it. As I've said in previous videos, the cards that we're afraid of in this matchup is definitely Kozilek's Return as well as Kozilek's Command. End of the turn, I have no reason not to surveil because Kozilek, both of the cards are on instant speed, so whatever happens is going to happen. Here right now, just because they paused, I'm pretty sure they have interaction. So I'm trying to think how I'm going to recalibrate, let's say, my play. The reason I'm killing Devoted Druid is because I'm running Gatha's Cauldron. So in case I drew Gatha's Cauldron, I could put Devoted Druid underneath. Here there could be two ways to play the game. You could either go for Priest of Titania to Priest of Titania and pass the turn. I decided to go for a Devoted Druid again in order to kill them next turn, because I feel that the longer the game goes, I'm not as favored. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 mana. This is never good. It's going to be either a Devourer or an Ugin, and it is an Ugin. I cannot come back from that. I cannot bounce back from that. So I'm just conceding and going to game number 2, hoping that I can actually win. The cards that come in are Dumping Sphere, even though it's not as effective. Disruptor Flute, mainly for Ugin. Forces of Vigor to get their artifacts. Skyclave Apparition, in case they're playing something weird like Khan, but they don't. Still, it's a generic piece of hate, let's say. As you can see, I keep as much of the speed of the deck as I can. This is a good hand. I just need either a payoff or a vizier. And it has Agatha's Cauldron in case they're trying to Kozilek's command my Devoted Druid. Turn 1, obviously, we're going to play our Llanowar Elf. And the hand just got so much better because of Formidable Speaker, which is another tutor on a stick. So unless they do something next turn, I can actually go off. And here we go. Unholy Heat. Okay, unless I have a Cauldron if needed. End of the turn, I'm still going to Surveil in order to fix my top deck because I have enough mana as it is right now. Yep. Sometimes I'm thinking when I'm playing a Yavimaya and I'm playing against Tron decks or similar decks, if they don't have the green source, I will try to avoid providing that to them. Here I'm still trying to set up for the kill because I have a Devoted Druid in the graveyard, which means I can put it under Cauldron. So I have a Devoted Druid, let's say, on board. I have Code of Calling to get the missing piece, and I have a Formidable Speaker, which is another tutor. And because I'm playing also Curion, I can bounce back a land, and if I want to discard something, in order to get the piece that I need. They got Sanctum of Ugin using a Malevolent Rumble, which means that you're missing lands, as far as I can understand, or you're missing colorless lands. So right now I'm checking what's going on, and I'm going to pass the turn. I know that they don't have a red, which makes me feel safer. I'm still gonna put Devoted Druid under the Cauldron. I've messed up a bit my plays here. I don't know, sometimes Formidable Speaker, because I'm not that acquainted to the card yet. I'm misplaying with it. I mean, here I try to be on the safer side. Here I could have just gone for it to get, with the mana that I had, I could court to get a Vizier on board, and then I could use the Formidable Speaker, bounce back Yavimaya, and discard Yavimaya, go and get Azuri and actually finish the game. I blanked out. I don't know, I wasn't in the right mindset. So whatever you see on from here is trying to fix the mess up I did in this round. Because I also had the protection of the Sylvan Safekeeper. It's not like they could interact with me. Devoted Druid was already under a cauldron. Actually, these replays are really good for me too, in order to see some of my misplays, how I could have done some things different. And I do believe that they do help me improve my game. So yeah, thank you everyone that pushed me to put some voice in this videos. So right now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. I'm not feeling very uncomfortable with that. I also see that they have a Formidable Speaker in the graveyard, which could be a great target in case they try to cast Kozilek's Return from hand, because I could turn my Llanowar Elf into a 3/3, and I could dodge that. And the opponent's trying to Kozilek's command my Sylvan Safekeeper. They understand that this is a card that causes lots of problems for them. Obviously, I'm not going to let that happen. And now we're waiting for the opponent to do their thing. I think they're trying to understand what's happened. I had yielded the turn, and then I realized at the end of my turn I could actually put Formidable Speaker under one of my creatures, and I unyielded. Once again, I'm gonna remind you that since Sylvan Safekeeper has a Shroud, I cannot target the card with the Gartha Soul Cauldron. So here I'm trying to put a Formidable Speaker, probably under Curion Ranger. They have some sort of interaction, because I see the pause. So right now I'm thinking, okay, do they just want to cast a Kozilek's command in order to take the speaker from the graveyard? And that's what they're trying to do. Obviously, I'm not gonna let them do that, and I'm gonna protect also my Llanowar Elf. Never yield in those matchups, or never just pass the turn like that. So here I'm still trying to figure it out how I'm gonna do it. I can't believe I've been messing this up completely. The opponent is completely tapped out. I'm still in my head. I'm actually stuck that I do have to cast a Formidable Speaker to go and get Vizier, and then go and cast Chord of Calling to get Azuri, which is the easiest finisher to cast online. But I think somewhere around here, see, I'm actually tapping also for white mana, and I'm trying to make Formidable Speaker work. And I think somewhere around this moment, I realized, what on earth are you doing? You can actually cast a Chord of Calling for 5, for X is 2, and get the Vizier on board. I even sacrifice my land. I'm telling you, sometimes I'm not in a very good mood. So there you go. It's not only good plays, I mess up a lot too. I'm pretty goofy. I'm still trying to cast a formidable speaker. This is amazing. Musa, think. There you go. You got it, girl. Here's my one and only Vizia. Another thing that I do sometimes is that I'm actually misclicking. I'm trying to target Vizia, and I'm misclicking with my mouse, and I'm actually getting another card. And that's like when I'm getting really frustrated. There we go, and we have the kill. We tried really hard, I tried, not you. I tried really hard to lose this game, but I actually managed to win. Uh, and thank you, opponent, for conceding after you seeing the combo. And we're going now to sideboard for game number 3. So game number 3 against Eldrazi Ramp, match number 1. This time they're playing first, and I see they have a Devourer again, and they're exiling mana, which means that they have enough mana. They're probably looking for a payout or something, or if they're looking for anything. The hand is decent, it's not great. I'm missing one piece of the puzzle. Missing missing a finisher. I bring in endurance in this matchup because it was main one I still explore, which also makes me think then that they're trying to cast a very early Emrakul. And this is why endurance is in the deck. Still, we're going with a plan, and I'm going to play Devoted Druid. I'm always so scared with that with the play putting a commercial district in play. Utopia Sprawl in the graveyard, so I definitely know they have enough mana for whatever they have in hand. And let's see now. What can happen to us? They can go up to 5 mana as it is. 5 mana doesn't cut it for a kicked Mycospawn, so we're okay. They put the Devourer under the Oogie. So that's the card that I know. These are little things that I always pay attention to when you're playing the deck. There you go. First Kozilek's card out of the way. I don't care. I was prepared for that. That's why I have Cauldron in the matchup. I'm actually pondering here. Should I just pass and play Endurance in their turn? I'm like, no, this is way too defensive. Let's throw in another Devoted Druid. I didn't play Curion Ranger because I didn't want to commit too much to the board. If they try to cast something that is going to trigger Kozilek's return from the graveyard, I have Endurance in hand, which I'm going to use by discarding Curion Ranger. Safety measures. As I've said also in the deck, dealing with or dodging the first Kozilek's return is very important when you're playing against Eldrazi Ramp. It's one of the reasons also I'm keeping Cauldrons in, because they help clean, let's say, their graveyard. They chose a Devourer of Destiny with Malevolent Rabble, another piece of information I'm always keeping in mind. So now I'm just going to try to diverse a bit my play, let's say. I will try not only to have a Devoted Druid as a mana producing mechanism. Obviously, first I'm gonna put Lush Portico in play in order to see what's in my top deck. And after that, I'm gonna play Priest of Titania in order to have a more diverse hand, in order to have more ways to use the Chord of Calling that I have in hand. If they, with a Devourer, they try to kill my Devoted Druid, I have Priest of Titania to go off. I'm also putting the Cauldron in play because if they cast Devourer, it's going to trigger Kozilek's Return from the graveyard. And with a trigger on the stack, I would be able to remove it from play with a Cauldron and be safe. These are little things I'm thinking over all the time when I'm playing the deck. It's like you're trying to play your deck, but you're also trying to play the deck the opponent plays sometimes, in order to understand what they're trying to do in order to stop you. Because you have to understand that most of the times you're the one that has to be stopped, not them. So here is the Devourer that we saw, and here we're going to see exactly what I was talking about with Kozilek's Return being in the graveyard. Here they're trying to decide whether they will go for Priest of Titania or Devoted Druid. So with the trigger on the stack, I'm taking away Kozilek's Return. I'm just fine. I'm still one piece away from winning. Damping Sphere. As I've said, usually it's not that great against Eldrazi Ramp, but in this case, because they have Eldrazi Temple as well as an Ugin with something underneath, which means that Ugin taps for 2 mana, Damping Sphere is actually good. But before I make any decision, I'm actually going to check my top deck, which is something that I don't really like. Yeah, Curin Ranger together with Lush Portico working overtime. And here I'm going to cast the Dumping Sphere just to be on the safer side. By the way, all this time I've been counting their mana and what they have in the graveyard to make sure that they won't be able to cast any Emeralds in their turn. Right now they have four mana on the battlefield, 4, and we have 5, 6, 7, 8 together with the cards and the types of cards in the graveyard. So I'm still okay. I don't need to rush. I'm very happy to see that Unholy Heat go to the graveyard. So let's see what they're gonna pick here. I guess it should be either formidable. It depends on what they have in hand. Either Formidable Speaker. Yep, it's Formidable Speaker. I don't remember exactly what has happened in the matchup. So right now they have 3 mana left because Ugin's Labyrinth is tapping only for 1 mana. And they have already played 1 spell for this turn, which, as you can understand, makes me understand that. Well, as you can understand, makes me understand. So obviously, right now they cannot cast a Kozilek's Return anymore. Yes, I'm obsessed with the card. As I've said, this is the only card you lose to. Because they need to pay 4 mana for it, and they don't have 4 mana because of a Damping Sphere. So it's very safe to use my Agatha's Soul Cauldron's ability end of their turn in order to make my Devoted Druid bigger and get it out of the range. And I think that this is the point at the end step, but they also realize that they cannot cast their Kozilek's Return. And yes, I did smile, because it's very nice to know what the opponent has in hand. So let's make that Devoted Druid even bigger. First, I'm trying to check if they have any creatures in the graveyard, which is not the case. So now I decided that I have to go for my... Actually, I went for that. Okay. So now that I have the mana, they will try to Kozilek's Return. I mean, yeah, it wasn't that wrong of a play. I mean, I can put Devoted Druid now, own devoted druid and it will be fine. And there you go. As I said, Nature's Rhythm is the card that makes the deck whole again, and it's the reason that it's playable again. You just draw it, you just finish the game. Otherwise, we would be dragging on for ages, and I don't think that this game would go in our favor. You just need one devoted druid and a Nature's Rhythm, and obviously that you still have Viziers in your deck. This is also one of the reasons that I decided that having two Viziers was the right play. I've seen it from another player, thank you, but I decided it was the right play. So, match number 2, we're playing first. It's a weird hand. I don't have anything good at 2 mana, which makes me wonder if I should keep it or not. That's why I mulliganed it. And I went for something that has tons of mana. I don't know what to do with it. So here we mulligan again, and we go for a hand that's probably better than the first one. I'm still not very happy with it. Maybe I should have mulligan to 4. But it's okay. We just have to hope that we will top deck very nicely. And I do have a Verdant Catacomb in order to try to fix the top deck as much as possible. Also, Pride, not good, not the hand that I wanted against this deck, but at least having a War Master and a 1-drop, in this case being Llanowar Elf, means that they are not very happy to cast their bombardment, because actually Ocelot Pride together with a bombardment is one of their favorite ways of playing against elves in general thing. I don't know if it's just devoted elves, because Ocelot Pride has first strike and kills all the 1/1s. Ajani. This card is a 2-mana Planeswalker. I cannot understand that we have Deathrite Shaman banned in Modern and Legacy, but we do allow having an Ajani sitting just here with us doing everything. Because even if you don't have a red source, you can just plus and then minus and just clean the opponent's board. That was me venting, and that was just a parenthesis. So, as I've just said, because they blast a journey, it means that I really do have to attack in order to take a journey down. Because if they -4, they will kill all my creatures on board, and I will be left just with one of them. Here I'm trying to calculate what's happening. So there you go. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact, creature, or enchantment in a planeswalker. Blah 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 blah. We don't care about the rest. So I definitely had to attack. I'm reading it once more to be sure. And here I have to make a decision if they're going to block with a card. They decide to block with a card. And here I have to make another decision if it's worth to protect my War Master or not. I decided that I wanted to protect my War Master and have the board advantage, let's say. If that's possible, though, because when the opponent has an Ajani on the battlefield, everything is very, very difficult. So there, they just need to cast any red permanent, and Ajani is turning into a bazooka. Priest of Titania was a good draw, but I think it came a little bit too late. Yeah, at this point, I start understanding that this is a game over, but I still have to try. Who knows, maybe they don't have any more creatures in hand, even though that's very difficult, especially when I see a Flash in the graveyard. I don't know why they're worried so much with the blocks, I mean, but it's okay. Yeah, and that's the point that I can see if I've had enough of this. Yeah, bombardment. I'm out of here. Hey, we can't win everything, can we? Obviously pass for all the cards I've mentioned before. Force of Vigor and Disruptor Flute. Force of Vigor is just for bombardment because it's very problematic. Disruptor Flute is both for a bombardment as well as a journey. Sun Cleanser, I think it's self-explanatory why I'm using that card. Skyclave Apparition is generic removal. Sanctifier, it's great because it shuts down half the deck. So yeah, that's a great hand, isn't it? We have the ultimate hate piece for energy, which is Sun Cleanser. We have Devoted. We have Formidable Speaker, which is a 2-drop. And we also have Modern Elves, which is a turn 1 play. It's actually very important against energy to have a turn 1 play. That's at least my belief. Boseiju is also great in case we draw a second land and we can keep up Boseiju for a bombardment. And that's it. Guide, so we're fine. So right now I'm not going to risk it because usually when they're playing guide 10-1, it means that after that they have removal, 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 removal. So I'm playing Sun Cleanser to be on the safer side. There you go. No energy for you. Okay, Oscillate Pride is not something I would like to see, but okay, they do have to play something. Because Ocelot Pride creates bodies. This will also come back and haunt me overnight, I think. We'll see how it goes. Because there are different plays right now. I can either go for a Devoted Druid and pass the turn. I can go and play Formidable Speaker and go and get something else from hand, which I don't think it's a good choice. Or I can try to play the Skyclave Apparition to take out Ocelot Pride, which a card that actually is going to create tokens as the game goes on. Because just by casting creatures right now, they're going to create tokens because of a Guide of Souls. Because every time another creature comes into play, you gain 1 life, and Ocelot Pride says that whenever you're gaining life, you create a token at the end of your at the beginning of your end step. So right now they're passing and they're about to attack. Obviously, at this point, I'm thinking that okay, they want me to block. Why do they want to do that? They have a Flage in hand, and they want me to use Sun Cleanser in order to block them and be able to kill my Sun Cleanser, which is actually causing a lot of problems for them. So I'm just going to let this pass. So I am expecting a Flage here. There you go. I'm waiting for them to target Devoted Druid first before I use Devoted Druid's ability and sacrifice the card. This way they do not gain the 3 life. Sometimes it's important, other times it isn't important. So right now I think now that I'm thinking about it again, I think I misplayed. I went for Formidable Speaker in order to go and get, you'll see in a minute, in order to go and get a Sanctifier to take a Flage out of the graveyard. But as you can see, there are only 2 cards in the graveyard, which means that I didn't really have to rush, did I? Oh boy, yes. But it's okay, we did it. I'm going to discard my Kyrian Ranger to get Sanctifier and put it in play. The right play here would be cast Skyclave Apparition and pass. And I could also cast the second Kyrian. Because right now I have Force of Vigor sitting in hand doing nothing. And it's not like they are very high on cards, they have 3 cards. It's okay. Surveillant. With a let's say of a Sun Cleanser and a Sanctifier, let's say that we're protected from red. So here you will start seeing the problem. Because they have cities blessing, they are creating tons of tokens, and they can actually go for a beatdown plan. Yeah, definitely I messed up. I should have killed the Oxal Pride with my cyclic evaporation. Now it's too late that I saw that, isn't it? But on the positive side, I hope you just saw how I used Formidable Speaker to untap Table Garden twice. This way I didn't go back a land drop, and I was able to play Lush Portico in order to surveil and try to fix my top deck. Ajani. This this means that because they have Ragavan, I cannot really block the tokens anymore because they would flip Ajani and be pardon me, and because they have a red permanent on board, I would be dead. So right now I hope I draw a path to get out of it. Very nice cauldron. Still not gonna save the day. So first I'm gonna surveil to see what I have on top. Another useless land. There you go, to the graveyard. I put cauldron on something. On Skyclave Aberration. I mean, I'm trying to get it out of the range over Flash, but I don't think it would matter. If only I had a way to remove Ragavan from play, then everything would be so much different. So this should probably explain also when sometimes I'm saying, okay, you need meaningful pieces of hate, but you also need to keep the core of the deck there in order to be able to kill them. There, Flash comes down and I'm dead. But it's okay. We learned something. We're going to match number 3. No, that's not a good hand. Now, this is not a good hand either, but because we have 4 mana, let's say, on turn 2, this is a keep. Marsh Flats. And our hand became so much better. Amazing. Again. Sometimes people tell me, how do you draw so well? Well, it's not me. It's the deck. It's tuned to do that. So we have a Goryo's Vengeance. This time I know from the beginning that it's going to be this deck. And I'm going to be risky here. I will try to bait the Solitude out by playing like that. This way, if they have a Solitude and try to aim for my Curian Ranger, I can still cast Devoted Druid using Curian Ranger's ability. And I'm saying that because, yes, I've seen people play like that. Even though it's not the right play, you're playing to how the opponent play. I mean, if people would actually kill Curian Ranger in that instance, yes, I'm going to take advantage of it. I will push the opponent to make mistakes. So actually there are two cards right now that can cause us problems. Because we know definitely they cannot go for an Atraxa this turn. They cannot cast anything from the graveyard. So we're afraid of either a Fatal Push or a Solitude. And let's see how it goes. They're attacking there using Psychic Frog's ability. And they're cracking, standing, to indicate that probably they want to ephemerate something. But not only that, they're cracking before they draw. This, for me, it shows me that it's trying to find the Solitude. So I'm actually not going to hold back, because the longer the game goes, once again, it's not going to be in our favor. So there we go. Nature's Rhythm for 2. It resolved. Vizier. We're over. Game is over. There's no way they can stop it now. I mean, they could cast a Force of Negation, but I think it's stupid to let a Vizier resolve from Nature's Rhythm and then countering Nature's Rhythm from the graveyard with Harmonize. Seven mana. I could also go for 5 mana plus tap Vizier, but I'm just using the mana in order to go and get Azuri and finish game number 1 against Goryo. Sideboard time. Path to Exile, self-explanatory. Endurance for the Graveyard, Skyclave Apparition for Frogs. Sanctifier cleans Atraxas and Grizzlebrands from the graveyard. Disruptor Flute, great for Frog and sometimes against Wrath too. And after that we are shaving numbers in order to keep the core of the deck together and still go on. A Vexing Bauble stays in the main because this way they cannot cast free, let's say, Solitude. Agatha Salt Cauldron is great graveyard hate, and that's about it. Not a good hand. It does nothing. I have nothing like a Priest of Titania or a Devoted Druid. This is a mulligan to 6. I'm not very happy about that either. And it means that once again I would have to be the defending deck, whereas Elves is the attacker most of the time. I can't really mulligan any heavier. I'm going to keep this hand. And I'm thinking which cards I'm going to put on the bottom. I kept a hand that has interaction, Graveyard Hate, and a Mana Source, Mana Producing Source, Priest of Titania, hoping that I will draw cards in order to win. Turn number 1, I'm playing Wooded Foothills. If they do not land a Frog end of the turn, in their turn, I will probably Surveil. But because I drew Devoted Druid, this plan can also change, meaning that maybe I can afford passing the turn to Surveil and try to fix my top deck because I'm so far behind. I've had to mulligan so hard. And it doesn't feel right now to path Psychic Frog because they have 4 cards in hand, and I would give them an extra land, meaning next turn they would go up to 4 mana. I didn't feel very comfortable with that, so I decided to actually pass that turn and do not path Psychic Frog. Do I cast? I actually cast Gather Cauldron. I'm playing very afraid of either an Anthrax in the graveyard or Solitude. The ideal draw for me right now, in my head at least, it would be another land to be able to play Devoted Druid without any worries, and actually keep up a path to kill the frog. There you go, the third land that I wanted. We are still not in a great shape, let's be honest. And they're surveilling. Lands, only lands in the graveyard. But still this time we do have interaction for whatever they're doing. Okay, they cleaned the graveyard. I'm happy about that. First we let them attack. And then I will attempt to kill to path the frog. And it worked. This way also the land comes in tapped. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wrath? There you go, Wrath. And now we're and then now once again we're so far behind. Okay, land is not bad. And yes, I do tap the 2 forests on purpose. I do want the opponent to be aware that I'm running paths, and I do have the mana in order to cast them. There you go. They have 5 mana up, and they have 5 cards in hand. What are the chances they don't have a Solitude in hand? In any case, I can't really do much right now. I have to actually progress my game. I'm almost certain they have a Solitude in hand, so I decide to pass the turn and try to cast a Chord of Calling in response to the Solitude. Now here, there were 2 options. I could either go for a Devoted Druid and just ignore Priest of Titania. This would be a decent call, but because I was so far behind everything and had tons of mana that I couldn't do anything with, I decided to play Sylvan Safekeeper and protect my Priest of Titania. I don't think this was the right play. I really don't think so. Maybe I should have just gone for it. As I say sometimes, just go for it and see how it goes. Because right now it's the next turn, I'm still doing exactly the same. I'm still gonna pay 4 mana to go and cast Nature's Rhythm in order to go and get a Devoted Druid. So yeah, I do believe that the previous turn I should have just let Priest of Titania die, get Devoted Druid, and in my turn try to go for something else. Two Faithful Mendings in the graveyard. Okay, I don't mind that there. Thoughtseize, there goes my Formidable Speaker. So there's no way I'm comboing next turn unless I draw the payoff for the Vizier. As you see, I'm ready. I'm expecting them to... Nope. That was a premature concession. But I do believe that I would have lost this match anyway. As I said, I'm goofy. I thought that Quantum Relay was actually Goryo's Vengeance and it just auto-conceded. It's okay though. Things can happen. Sometimes my patience is running very low, especially when I have to wait a lot for the opponents to play. I'm not a very patient player online. So let's go to game number 3 against Gorgeous Vengeance. Decent hand. I don't want to mulligan too hard against them too because they're due round Thoughtseizes. Turn 1. I'm going to fetch for the Temple Garden. The reason I'm fetching for Temple Garden is because I can draw Sanctifier. Sometimes at this time. Turn 2. There you go. You go on top. Priest of Titania. Nice top. I'm going to leave there. If this Priest of Titania survives, I'm going to be in a really good shape because I have tons of mana next turn to do whatever I want. They're fetching for white-blue with a meticulous archive. First thought in mind, Wrath of the Skies, so I have to protect myself from that. Another indication that they probably have a Wrath in hand, or at least in my head, maybe I'm going crazy, is that turn number 2 they're playing another city sewers without doing anything else. Meaning they're trying to prolong the game until they reach a point where they can cast a very effective Wrath of the Skies. And this is when I do calculations to see if I have enough mana. At this point, next turn they could only cast a Wrath on 1, so I'm just making sure that they cannot bring anything back from the graveyard using Goryo's Vengeance. So I'm gonna use a Formidable Speaker to go and get an Azuri. This will be the protection next turn for me. For the Wrath, I mean, that's going to be the protection from the Wrath. And do not attack with an Elvis Mystic, because if they had a Solitude with Ephemerate, I would lose my whole board. I mean, if they Solitude and Ephemerate at that point, I would lose regardless. But still, these are little things that are going through my head when I'm playing Magic. Okay, Frog. Sanctifier can block a non-flying frog for ages. And here we are. That was a great draw, because we have an active Priest of Titania, and we also have a Formidable Speaker, which is it has a Curion effect. So right now I'm trying to go and tutor for 1. Obviously, in this case, I will try to go and get a Sylvan Safekeeper. So the opponent's going to interact with us. They will try to interact with us, I said. Come on, opponent. You can do it. They're trying to decide what card they're going to pitch, aren't they? They pitch another Marsh of Otherworldly Light, aiming a piece of Titania. So here we are using a Formidable Speaker's ability to add more mana. So I do get a Sylvan Safekeeper. And I have 4 mana. The choice here is I either go and get another mana producing card, meaning I could go and get another Priest of Titania, or I'm gonna play around my obsession, which is in this game, is actually Wrath of the Skies. And this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to play Hate Biz for a little bit. I hope you don't mind. So here goes Sun Cleanser, and Zuri comes on board. And because I have Sylvan Safekeeper, all my creatures are protected. They cannot Solitude anything anymore. Then we go to their turn. Quantum Relay. This is the problem. Because they're drawing enough cards in order to for a Psychic Frog to get out of range and keep on attacking us in the air. Which means that they have a pretty decent beatdown plan. And there you go. They are adding mana with Psychic Frog. Adding mana. They are throwing stuff to the graveyard to grow Psychic Frog. But they should discard another card, yes. This way they can draw 2 cards with Psychic Frog. But see how nicely Sanctify works? It actually took Traxa from the graveyard, which means that it shuts down half of their deck. So we're okay, we're still not in a great spot, because we do have 5 mana, but I have to keep using my lands if needed in order to protect the creatures on board. So it would be better if I actually drew something. Something good, or a mana sink or something. Not mana sink, you know, I mean. And ephemerating that Riddler was actually pretty bad. Because another idea I had was actually attack them next turn for a huge chunk of their life. But obviously this doesn't work anymore. Path, that was a great draw. I cannot complain. I know they have an ephemerate in the exile, which means that next turn they were probably going to ephemerate a Quantum Breeder. So I'm making the decision right now that the best play is actually to go and path. I'm counting here how much mana I have. If I have lethal damage, which is not the case because I do not have as many elves on board. As I said earlier, it's actually hate birds that I have on board right now. Because if I tap for 5 mana, I only have a Formidable Speaker as well as a Zori attacking with a pump. And it's definitely not enough with 18 plus 6, 24 defense, let's say, that the opponent has. So the right play right now is to actually path the Formidable Speaker in order to get it out of the way. So there we go, I'm tapping with mana, Quantum Breeder is out of here. And we go on from there. And actually also get a free attack like that. One, two, three, four, everything. Only my beautiful Sanctifier stays back to protect me from the mean Psychic Frog, let's say. Because I have to cut a little bit of their life. I have to cut a good chunk of it. Because in order to finish them next turn. You see, the deck isn't all about comboing off. It's about putting the right pieces against the right opponent. So now it's their turn. We're on 12. Their creature is a 6/7, which means they have 4 cards in hand. That even if they discard their whole hand, they can only deal 10 damage. And in the crackback, I can actually kill them. Obviously, this means that they will have to fly. So here we go here. They're discarding cards. In order to make a frog bigger, Faithful Mending, three Goryo's Vengeance are already out of the game. They only have 1 left. I think they realize themselves that bringing back anything from the graveyard isn't a choice anymore. And there goes a beautiful Atraxa. Goodbye, let me not see you again. I hate it as a card. It's a beautifully designed card, but it doesn't work in my favor, so I don't like it. That's simple as that. I'm double checking the size of the frog. It's a 7. They have 3 cards in hand and still a 10. I have to do this calculation multiple times because sometimes I'm very goofy with my calculations and I lose when I shouldn't lose. I miscalculate the damage. What are they casting here? Turn off March for 3. Yeah, this isn't going to happen. I'm not going to let my Azuri die. This is my plan out of the game. And yes, I'm sacrificing the Cavern of Souls. It's not in this matchup. And I do need as much white and green sources as I can. And obviously they shouldn't attack here because it's not lethal. There we go. And they're passing the turn. My beautiful little girl. See? You don't need anything. You just need a Curian Ranger. Obviously, once again, because I'm horrible with math. Yes, I'm playing Elves and I'm horrible with math. I will sit here and I will actually do the calculations to make sure that the opponent is dead. And just because they have 11 plus 8, they're on 19 life, let's say, I realize that I do not have enough to kill them. So actually tapping a Temple Garden in order to play Curian Ranger was a misplay. Yes, once again, it wasn't a good day for me today. And I'm going to tap Lash Portico after that in order to try to surveil once more and fix my top deck. Here you can see me still trying to calculate things. Come on, you can do it. What am I thinking about here? I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, still trying to do the calculations one more time. Then I decide it's not safe. Land. Having land in this case is good. Because yeah, I don't even know if next turn I might have to sacrifice another land with Sylvan Safekeeper. So right now I have a free attack. My two Elvish Mystic can attack. They have a regeneration shield on each one of them, which means that I can chip in for 1 damage and still have my creature survive. So here we go. Here we go again. They have a 7/8 frog, 2 cards in hand, which means that it's a 9/10 frog. I'm still alive and kicking, and I'm not gonna complain about that. They're flying the frog with the ability in order to deal damage in the air. Yep, there goes the 4th Goryo's Vengeance. So no more Atraxas or anything else for me. There go Wrath of the Skies. It was actually a very nice feeling to see Wrath of the Skies in the graveyard, knowing that bringing in Sun Cleanser was a really, really, really good choice. And then they realized that in their crackback I had them dead. So we're going to the next one. We're playing first this time. Okay, hand. Not crazy about it, but I'm still going to keep it because I have enough things going on for me to play. So turn number 1, I'm playing Modern Elf with Cavern of Souls. I could have played Temple Garden in order to trick a counter out in turn number 2, the second turn, but for some reason I decided that I can play the Temple Garden tapped. Or in our case, I'm going to play Priest of Titania, and because I drew the Misty Rainforest, I'm going to play that and I'm going to pass the turn. This way I can surveil end of their turn. Tamiyo. This could mean anything. This could mean some type of wizard, infinity. So I'm waiting to see the second color they're going to have. It's black, so it's probably Dimir Midrange once again, and I won vengeance for my loss from the previous time that I actually faced them, which was yesterday, I do believe. Yes, I want revenge. No, I do not need any more lands. And Chami is going to attack in order to create a clue token. We're okay with that. The plan still remains the same. War Master was actually a great draw. This way I'm casting War Master first, and then I'm going to cast the Priest of Titania in order to create a token too. Obviously, in the back of my head, I'm always thinking, what if they have subtlety? You know what? Sometimes you cannot just avoid it. You just have to take it. If they have subtlety, let them have subtlety, and you're going to proceed from there. At that point, the best play was actually to cast War Master together with Priest of Titania and proceed with my game. I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I'm playing, I'm constantly trying to think what can go wrong. Sometimes this is very helpful, and it helps me dodge some of my opponent's plays. Other times, though, I've noticed that it actually holds me back from actually killing the opponent. So I'm trying not to do as much sometimes. It's not very easy. So we go Orcish Bowmasters number 2, aiming Priest of Titania. We can't do anything about that. We're gonna take it. And let's see what we're gonna draw. My little girl. So I'm trying to think what I'm gonna get this time. With the hand that I have, Vizier of Remedies is useless. I'm not gonna beat them through the combo, meaning the Devoted Vizier combo. And my way out is actually getting another Priest of Titania, pardon me, in order to be able to abuse Elvish Warmaster's ability. I mean, they have already cast 2 Bowmasters, so the chances of them removing my next Priest of Titania are starting to be a bit slimmer. And we're passing the turn. I mean, in my head right now I'm thinking, okay, I have Goryo Ranger, I have a Formidable Speaker, I can activate Priest of Titania 3 times, and I'm fine. But they have a Fatal Push, and we can't do anything. And pardon me, and Formidable Speaker is a really nice defender too, because it's a 2/4. It was very easy for me to block this token. Here I am counting, and if I can actually activate Warmaster, but I couldn't. I need more mana, so I'm just gonna play Wooded Foothills and pass. They have double blue up, so I'm afraid of a Washington. This is the reason I'm not fetching with Wooded Foothills right now. So right now that they're trying to draw a card by cracking a clue token, I'm actually gonna fetch for my basic to be on the safer side. I don't want them to cast a Washington and actually draw a card. They're tapping for black. This is never good. I do see that the opponent though is struggling with mana. They're stuck on 3 lands now. They're up to 4, which means that they have a handful of casts, but not enough mana to cast anything with. It also means that my Coven of Souls was pretty effective, which means that all the counter spells, spell snares, and everything were not as useful as they wanted them to be. They're drawing a card again. Tamiyo flipped. Nobody likes a flipped Tamiyo. This Planeswalker has to get out of the board. As I am whining about Ajani, I'm actually going to whine about Tamiyo too. But at least Tamiyo, it's much more difficult to flip and turn into a Planeswalker. But still, they are printing 1-mana Planeswalkers, and they're still afraid of a Deathrite Shaman in Modern. But that's just what I'm going to say and leave it there. I mean, Ragavan isn't the fairest of all the cards, is it? And it's still in Modern. So right now I'm just pumped with War Master, and I'm attacking a Tamiyo because I need this card dead. If I don't kill Tamiyo this turn, they're gonna be looping Fatal Pushes from the graveyard constantly. There we go. And they're cracking end of their turn. They're obviously gonna surveil and go for a second Black Source. I do believe that not having enough Black Sources in their mana has kept me alive the first 6 turns. And here we go. Let's see what else they're going to play. 6 cards in hand. 5 mana. They're looking for something, that's why they're drawing in their turn. And here's the third Bowmasters. Brilliant, I would say. Okay, it's not that devastating that they are killing a Kyrian Ranger. I do have a formidable speaker if needed, if I find a Priest of Titania or a Devoted Druid. There you go, my little girl once again. So let's cast Priest of Titania. And see all this time that I've been saying that War Master is not as effective in the current meta. But as you can see in this game, War Master has worked overtime by creating tokens that can actually block the opponent. So in a non-black meta, War Master isn't as good. But if we go back to a grinder meta and we do want the bodies, then War Master should go up to 3 or 4 again, because we're also playing Codes of Calling. I mean, in grinder matchups, we do bring out Codes of Calling, but it creates bodies, and defenders are always good. And there we have 4 of a kind. If the opponent was playing poker, this is the hand that they would win with. And I think here they misclicked. I didn't dare to ask them because sometimes people in Magic Online, they get a bit offended way too easily, and they're a bit easily irritated. But I'm almost certain that they actually wanted to aim a priest here and not my token. But their mistake actually made my life much easy. At least it's good to know that I'm not the only one that misclicks sometimes. They're tapping 4 mana. What is going on? What are they going to cast? Kaito. Okay. They're going to cast Kaito just to freeze, let's say, my to put 2 stun counters on my Priest of Titania. But this is another nice use of a formidable speaker. There we go again, once more. This Kaito cannot stay on board. There you go, stun counters removed. Just even better than Kyrian Ranger, I would say. And I'm not very afraid anymore because I know that there are no more Orcish Bowmasters to be cast. So if Titania can only die to a fatal push. And there, Kaito has to die. So I'm gonna attack just with enough lethal damage for that Planeswalker. I'm gonna keep my Warmaster behind, and I'm not gonna use Priest of Titania. So for safety reasons, my life total is pretty low. I need to keep my defenses up. Let's see. It's still very scary that they have 5 cards in hand and I'm still alive, while my hand is completely empty. What they say is what they get from me, but still they can do so much. There you go. As I said, no more Orcish Bowmasters, but they do have fatal pushes, and because they could attack after that, I'm just gonna pump everything in order to build up some defense. There's the frog. All the Dimir lists are not very set. This is one of the main reasons that I don't know how to play against this deck. It's not that I have decided what is good and what is bad. For example, in my previous league, I lost to Engineered Explosives, which I have only seen twice. Here I see a frog. And anyway, let's go back to our Zuri. There you go. This was a great draw because I have enough lands and enough mana to kill them next turn. They're on 14. If my Azuri pumps, they're dead. But as I said, Dimir Midrange, at least, maybe it's just me, maybe I haven't studied the deck very well. They don't have a set main board. So I don't know how to approach this matchup sometimes. Because, for example, Disruptor Flute, it's a card that I could bring against them, but sometimes I do not bring it. For example, here, just for a frog, would I bring it? I don't know. Maybe not, because I want to keep the consistency of my deck. I would just bring Meeting Paths and Skyclave Evaporation. But if I see a Kaito or explosives, as I saw in the previous one, yes, I'm definitely going to bring in Disruptor Flutes. There you go, they're discarding their counter spells, which haven't really done much in this game. Thank you, Cavern of Souls. And I mean, usually they're running Field of Ruins in the lists, but I was lucky enough for them not to draw it, because I think this would have been a completely different game if my Cavern of Souls didn't exist. There goes Subtlety. I mean, they could have cast Subtlety. Anyway, maybe they just drew it. Now this is a Flying Frog. They're trying to draw out of it. So they're 14, 15, 16, 7, and they conceded. They made my life easy because, as I said, I'm horrible with math and I was trying to calculate how much damage I was dealing. 3 paths coming in, Disruptor Flute coming in because I'm traumatized from my last league, Skyclave Evaporation, a generic removal for anything, even Kaito. Eldrazi isn't useful in this matchup as they are not running Snapcasters from what I've seen. In other lists I've seen Snapcasters, so obviously I'm bringing in Endurances. One Vizier comes out. I'm removing one Heritage Druid because they're playing a Bowmaster. I mean, I'm always removing a Heritage Druid post-board. The way that I've put together the deck, pre-board, you're as fast as you can go. Okay, Endurance is an exception because it was my free sport. Post-board, you're adjusting your deck to have hit and speed together. How can I say no to this hand? This is perfection. I have my land that protects my creatures. I have Devoted Druid in Nature's Rhythm, which is a turn 3 kill. And it was a choice here not to cast Cavern of Souls turn 1, because as it is right now, I don't mind the Llanowar Elf to get countered. I wanted to get the counter out of the hand. The important card for me was actually is actually the Devoted Druid, which I'm going to play on turn 2. There you go, I draw the second Cavern of Souls, so I know I'm pretty safe from all the counter spells that they could possibly play. The only thing that they can counter right now is my Nature's Rhythm, but it's okay, I have an Eldrazi. And this Devoted Druid will go bye-bye. Yes, yes. No. Did they misclick again? I don't know. I don't know if they misclicked. I want to believe they misclicked. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to think about it. I will take what I have in front of me. Here I'm gonna fetch for the Temple Garden just to be able to have a white mana source in case they counter my Nature's Rhythm and I draw a path in the future. I'm just saying these little things in case somebody doesn't think as I am. But they didn't counter the Nature's Rhythm and they're dead if they stopped interacting with me. So okay, it's not very often to go off on turn 3 against Dimir Midrange. Maybe the opponent didn't know our deck very well, which it's completely okay, it's fine, because it's not a deck that's very popular. I'm desperately trying here to make the deck more popular, but still, it's perfectly fine if people don't know what I'm playing. It also makes my life easier. And I really hope that after the first activation they're gonna concede. Or maybe just now. Yes, they conceded. So we're 3-1 and we're going into the last match. Okay, hand, I'm relying a lot on Cute Ranger to do work overtime, so I'm actually hoping that the opponent is not playing red-black or anything else that can remove my creature. They're playing Tron, which means that the count I actually kept is perfect against them. And I don't really have to worry about life, so I'm fetching for Temple Garden in case my turn 2 draw is actually Devoted Druid and I can go off on turn 3. But as I've said previously, I'm thinking that maybe I shouldn't play Yavimaya on turn 2 because I don't want to provide them with the green source that they might need. But we'll see how it goes. And dismember turn 1, which means that I definitely need to play that Yavimaya unless I draw another land. There we go, we draw the forest and we're actually going to play it instead of Yamimaya. As I've said, as I've written in the primer, which you can find the link down below in the video. Um, don't play your Yavimaya if you really have to, unless you know that it's really not relevant to the matchup. Don't give the opponent free lands. No, don't give the opponent the chance of not cracking their fetch lands in order to tap for mana. Kozilek's command, that was not good. They have a very good hand. Still, I'm trying. At this point, I realize that they have enough mana to do whatever they want because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, 7 mana next turn with whatever they want to play if they have a Devourer in hand. So I'm just going to throw the Yavimaya in play. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana or 7 for Eldrazi creatures. There you go, they're going to cast an Eldrazi spell. I kicked Spawn. I'm okay with that, but this way they have Assembly Tron for the next turn. And they do have 3 cards in hand, and I'm starting not to feel very good. 5 mana. Yeah, this is not good news. In order to have any chance of doing anything relevant, my next draw has to be Curion Ranger. Simple as that. Curion Ranger would allow me to play Priest of Titania, Eladamri, whatever is off the top of the library, as well as Azuri, and try to hope that the rest of the hand won't exile whatever I have. So here I'm wondering, are they going to minus or plus? They actually decided to plus. It's not very often that people aren't greedy, and the opponent wasn't greedy, they knew what they were doing. And Cavern of Souls. Yeah, that's not a good draw. But I'm thinking now, if next turn they play Karn and they just go and grab Ballista, it's game over. I can feel the death coming my way. And it's again, yeah, death. Go, we're done. I can win this. Let's go to game number 2 against Eldrazi Tron. Disruptor Flute, Dumping Sphere. Dumping Sphere is great in this matchup. The Disruptor Flute stops both Khan as well as Ugin. Collector Oof to stop all their expedition maps and stuff like that. I do like to keep one Cauldron in, especially after I've seen them playing Dismembers. Obviously, Forces of Vigor come in. Vexing Bottle is useful. Heritage Druid is useless. Skyclave Apparition is a great removal for Planeswalker, also known as, in this case, Khan. And that's about it. I'm removing Eladamri. This is not a mid-range matchup that Eladamri is going to be useful in. I want to have speed in order to win. I had to think about this hand for a bit. My guts were telling me that this hand is a keep. So right now I'm actually trying to do math in my head in order to figure out why my senses tell me that this hand is a keep and this hand is a very fast kill. And I'm starting to think about it. What I'm actually thinking, turn 1, I'm going to play Veteran Catacomb. I'm going to fetch for a Temple Garden. Life is irrelevant when you're playing against Tron. I'm going to play Llanowar Elf. Turn 2, I'm going to play Curion Ranger. I'm going to play a War Master together with an Elves Mystic using a Curion Ranger ability. And I'm going to play the land again, and I will have enough mana for turn number 2, their turn number 2, to be able to Code of Calling for 2 and actually get either my Priest of Titania or my Devoted Druid. This way, turn number 3, I can finish them. I hope you could follow my way of thinking. I'm double checking what I have in the deck. There you go, Temple Garden. Because you never know, maybe I will draw there this year. turn 1, Ugin's Labyrinth. What are they going to put underneath? Right now I'm terrified that they might actually play Charlie's on 1. If they played Charlie's on 1, my whole hand would go to the trash. And here, stop. Oh, why do you do that, Musa? That was a wrong play. It was too late when I realized that I made a huge mistake. I was so excited to draw the second land that I didn't really realize that it was actually the wrong play. I shouldn't have played Cavern, because this way my plan went away. Imagine with this hand, if I didn't have the Cavern, and I actually had also Elvis Mystic on the board, and the land would be there. I would be able in their turn to untap the Llanowar Elf, and I would have a Llanowar Elf, a War Master, a Kieran Ranger, an Elf Warrior token, and the other Elvis Mystic. And I would be able to cast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would have 5 mana, let's say, to cast a Chord of Calling for 2. Keep that in mind. And I'm waiting for to see what they're going to play. They're thinking about it. I don't know what other plays they have. So let's see. I'm hating my life right now. Oh yeah, I don't need you, Disruptor Fleet, right now. But still, I'm going to try to do my best with the rest of my hand. We are playing the Mystic, we're creating a token, we're untapping. This way we can both cast Chord of Calling and have Disruptor Flute ready for whatever they want to do. They are far away from having enough mana to do anything relevant. And here we're waiting. And they're passing the turn, meaning they're waiting for us to interact with them. They do know that I have a Chord of Calling. The best play here is actually to go and get a Priest of Titania, which means that I actually have enough mana to go for lethal. Before I do that, I do play a Disruptor Flute. I'm going to name Kozilek's command with this one. Just trying to protect myself, let's say, because I cannot protect myself from a dismember. So this is the best I could do with the cards I had in hand. This Raptor Flute, now that's something I didn't expect them to play. Actually, I did expect them to play, but I didn't think of that. Obviously, they should name War Master with it, and they actually did. And here we go. Let's try to turn into an energy deck, shall we? I'm trying to create tons of tokens to attack. I'm still keeping back my War Master and my Priest of Titania because I do run Force of Vigor. Maybe I would get lucky to draw either a Force of Vigor or a Bosager. 3, 4 mana. Khan. This is never good news. At least they're down to 2 cards in their hand. So what they're gonna fetch? What are they gonna fetch? Explosives. Horrible. Very, very bad. Explosives for 0. Very problematic. But still, I do have to kill Khan, the Great Creator, because I can't have that card stay on board, as it will keep on tutoring, fetching stuff from their sideboard, or exile, in this case sideboard though, into the hand. So actually I'm going to attack with all the tokens, which I'm pretty sure they're going to die because of Engineered Explosives on 0. With my Elvis Mystic, both of them, as well as the War Master, which is useless at this point, into a Khan. Just to kill it. This is why I actually decide to attack with Curion Ranger too. And there we go, they are deciding to throw away Curion Ranger, which was the right choice. Good for you, opponent. As they make sure that my Priest of Titania cannot be abused. Two cards in hand. I can see that all is dust under Ugin's Labyrinth, and I'm not feeling very well. Okay, they draw lands. 5, 6. I'm ready to concede here. Yep, I'm ready to concede. I don't know why I keep on playing after that. Especially with my Disruptor Flute, which should have been kept in hand in order to name Ugin, has been used in that manner in a different way. Yeah, no, you came a bit late, didn't you? Yeah, that's it. In any case, thank you very much if you stayed with me and you watched the whole video. Thank you very much for watching it. And if you do like the content I'm creating, please do think about subscribing to the channel. It will help me a lot and will make me understand that you actually like what I'm doing. And I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.